The Dark Knight Rises is a film that I, along with a few other people, have been waiting a long time to see. The two previous installments, Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, really reinvented the way that Batman is viewed for a mainstream audience. And not only that, it left a stamp on what the superhero film genre could be. And at the helm of this new film and the trilogy, we have Christopher Nolan, who made a number of highly acclaimed and highly inventive films such as Inception and Memento. A filmmaker I see as making films for himself and has faith that the mass audience will be able to follow along on his ride. Even though I was hyped for this film, I avoided seeking information about it, except for trailers and posters and things like that. And going in kind of clean, I found it really rewarding as there were a number of twists throughout this film. So in this review I will try not to give any integral plot points away, which I know many people have done. The film takes place 8 years after the events of The Dark Knight. Batman has essentially retired after taking the fall for Harvey Dent's crimes, and his true identity, Bruce Wayne, has become a recluse. A new villain known as Bane threatens the city, and Bruce is really struggling with the idea of putting the suit on once more. On top of this, his butler Alfred is really worried for his safety, and he feels Bane is the most deadly foe he has ever faced. It's in this relationship's dynamic where most of the film's emotional impact is strongest at. There are a few familiar faces returning, such as Lucius Fox and Commissioner Gordon. There is also a few new characters introduced, such as Selina Kyle, a burglar known as Catwoman, and Officer Blake, a Gotham cop who is very resourceful. So again, without saying too much, Bane puts Gotham in utter chaos, and he puts Bruce Wayne really at his lowest point. As the title suggests, the Dark Knight must rise to this challenge. It is Bane versus Wayne. Will Batman succeed? Will he make it out in one piece? I think I will leave it there. This film is actually more focused on Bruce Wayne than the Batman alter ego, and Christian Bale is once again brilliant as Bruce Wayne. I think that this is actually the strongest performance he has given as this character. This time he is dealing more with an internal struggle and the burden of being Batman, and it really brings it back to the first film, Batman Begins. It would be too hard to match Heath Ledger's legendary performance as the Joker in The Dark Knight, so Tom Hardy gives us a very different character as Bane. I feel like the Joker is the opposite of Batman because Batman stands for order and the Joker for chaos. The Joker just wants to mess around with Batman while Bane wants to destroy him and make him suffer. Bane's more equal to Batman, and they also have quite a similar backstory. Bane is a much more daunting force in a physical sense. He has a voice that is a pretty unusual choice, and the fact that it can be hard to decipher what he's saying at times, it makes him that bit more unique and a bit more frightening as well. It's kind of like a modern day Darth Vader or something. Tom Hardy's performance is even more impressive as he is restricted to expressing himself only in his eyes. Michael Caine as Alfred gives a lot of heart to this film, which really drives the emotional side of it. Anne Hathaway is excellent as Selina Kyle, and brings some much needed humour to this very dark film. The rest of the cast were great in their roles too, right across the board. The score is great and really adds something to every scene. The cinematography is beautiful. There's a number of very memorable scenes, and the very memorable Bane chant, which will always be associated with this movie. But the real praise should go to Christopher Nolan. He has to juggle a lot of different elements like multiple story arcs, getting the best performances out of his actors, staying true to the world he created, staying true to the fans, staying true to his vision, and staging amazing action set pieces. This film really delivers as an ending to this trilogy. It has a few nods, cameos and callbacks to the previous films, but it does still have its flaws like plot holes, but you do have to suspend your belief a bit when you go see a film like this. The beginning does take a bit to get going, but I do find it quite intriguing to find out about how Bruce is coping in this section of his life. And it's a bit long at 2 hours and 45 minutes, but actually it didn't feel like that to me. I'm not really a big fan of big blockbuster films, but this trilogy really shows what they should be like. Christopher Nolan just packs so much into this film that it's quite easy to let those little flaws go. Well, that's pretty much all I've got to say about The Dark Knight Rises. So, as always, thanks for listening.